Okay, so I didn't tell you this, but I should have told you this. Turns out always vertical angles are congruent. Which is just our geometry word for equal. So how do I know that vertical angles are always congruent? And this is going to be kind of our first introduction to like a formal proof. But let's imagine that we are looking at two vertical angles. Let's call this guy A and this guy B. I want to show without a doubt that these two things are going to be equal. And the way I do that is I say that this angle right here, we'll call it C. I add in this third angle to my diagram. So we're going to claim that the measure of angle A should equal the measure of angle B, that my two vertical angles are congruent. All right, so the first thing I'm going to say is that if we look at A and C, we should notice that they are a linear pair. So I'm going to say angle A plus angle C is equal to, well, a linear pair is always going to be equal to 180. I'm going to say because they're a linear pair. But I also know that C and B are also forming a line. So we're going to say angle C plus angle B also equals 180. And that's because it's also a linear pair. And then I'm going to do a little fancy math. If both of these things equal to 180, then I can say that this part, which I know equals 180, should equal this 180, which means it should also equal this. Basically, the idea is that instead of writing this 180, I'm going to substitute in this second part. So instead of writing that second 180, I wrote this part because I know it equals to 180. And the reason I did that is to substitute. And then a little geometry, you could minus an angle C from both sides. These guys are going to cancel, those guys are going to cancel. And we have now shown that angle A is equal to angle B, which means that the vertical angles are congruent. And we don't say equals in geometry, we say congruent. So that little symbol means congruent.